Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul and other senators are pushing for a sweeping overhaul of the federal guidelines for prison sentences. They say the guidelines disproportionately hurt minorities and that each case should be judged on its own merits rather than have harsh sentences imposed because of the current guidelines. Today, there are more than 218,000 federal prisoners, but in the 1980s, there were only about 25,000. The growth came after the mandatory penalties were put in place. Both the Senate and the House are considering measures to reform the guidelines. And Pat, I know that you feel pretty passionately about this. A lot of these sentences lead to what many call a miscarriage of justice.
There's no question about it. This thing is an outrage. The United States has more people incarcerated than any other nation on earth, much higher than Red China, much higher than the Soviet Union. I mean, it's just outrageous what we've done, and it's just crazy. People have an ounce of marijuana, so they get 5 years in jail. It's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. And when they've had these mandatory minimums, judges can listen to a case, but they have to assign a penalty. If somebody says, well, they're guilty, then they've got to go for 10 years or 20 years or whatever. And to think that our prison population since that time has gone up tenfold, we can't afford it. It's demoralizing, and it's to do this to people. And something's got to be done, and it's done on the state level as well as the national level. But we've done a series called Nation of Criminals. And what is being said, Rand Paul says it right, it falls disproportionately on minorities, and the people who get socked away are the inner city black people who can't afford expensive lawyers. And just routine, they run through the system. They don't quite know what they're doing. The next thing you know, they're in jail for 5 years, and then they become hardened criminals, and then they come out, and the only career open to them is to deal drugs or to steal. I mean, it's just totally counterproductive, and something's got to be done. And we've got to wake up as a nation and stop this knee-jerk reaction as I'm tough on crime. Well, by all means, be tough on crime, but this isn't the way to show your toughness.